All right, y'all. Y'all knew this was coming. We've been talking about Jesus' top five most savage moments, and today we're going to talk about number three. So let's go ahead and get into it. At number three, we have Jesus again talking to those hypocritical religious leaders of back in the day. All right, so the conversation goes like this. One day, as Jesus was teaching the people in the temple and preaching the gospel, the chief priests and the scribes with the elders came up and said to him, "Tell us by what authority you do these things, or who it is that gave you this authority." He answered them, "I also will ask you a question. Now tell me, was the baptism of John from heaven or from man?" And they discussed it with one another, saying, "If we say from heaven, he will say, 'Why did you not believe him?' But if we say from man, all the people will stone us to death, for they are convinced that John was a prophet." So they answered that they did not know where it came from. And Jesus said to them, "Neither will I tell you by what authority I do these things." Petty, yet savage. So what's happening here is these religious leaders are trying to trap Jesus in his words so they can persecute him all over the issue of authority. So what is authority? Authority, we see authority as a position of power that gives us the right to govern. So we see this in everyday life, whether it's parenting or parents, teachers, political leaders, people that have a source of power, right? But where does it come from? And I believe Romans 13:1 answers that question. Romans 13:1 says, "Let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authorities resists what God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment." So ultimately, authority comes from God. God puts people in a place of authority to do good in his namesake. Now, we know in today's day and age that doesn't always happen. Actually, it rarely ever happens. But ultimately, authority comes from God. Now, one reason that these political and religious leaders of that time had an issue with Jesus is because it seemed like he always spoke on his own authority, which they hated, right? Because the religious leaders had their structure and order and ranking, and how dare he elevate himself above all of them and speak on his own authority. All right, y'all, that takes number three. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment below. I'm out. Peace.